play it. Well, so much for the timing on that one. Nice and glitchy tonight. Dang. All right, howdy, folks. Welcome back. I told you I would be back. Get that out of there and let's get this show on the road. All right, here we go. While that's loading up, actually, that's the wrong date. Let me get the right date here really quick. We were doing a little bit of digging around before I got going here, so that's why. All right, now there's today, August 30th, 2024. And while that's loading up there and kind of the loops playing, I'll take a second here to thank you all for taking a moment of your time, your precious time, to be here with this precious family. This is not your ordinary YouTube live stream, okay? This is something much, much different. The information we deal with here is disturbing, so it's advisable to stick it out till the end for the spiritual report. So, therefore, this is no longer disturbing, okay? That's part of the point of this show, too, okay? All right. So thank you guys. I couldn't get 5 minutes of people's time before in my life, and I understand. I went through years of agony because of it, and I understand how important it is to have a moment of your time. So thank you for coming on over. All right, let's get this show started here. So that's all loaded up. Doesn't look like there's much going on here. It's kind of glitchy and jumpy. There's 40 frames. We're usually 100 or 98 frames. So we're missing a bunch of data. It's skipping and jumping all over the place. So I'm going to come back here and we're going to come on down stereo away here and see if anything captured there. And it's doesn't really show too much going on right here. So there's not a lot going on the satellite tonight, at least what we can see. Anyways, I want to go back really quick to where I had loaded up. So tomorrow's going to be the 31st, all right? And what I used to do before we finished up this part of the report was I would go look 3 days back and see what we're going to expect tomorrow. All right. We had an unexpected geomagnetic storm. Okay. Saying it's because of a crack in the magnetic field. Fine, whatever. But I'm going to try to get back into the habit of doing that. So we'll know what to expect other than the reports that are being written and stuff. Okay. So tomorrow being the 31st. All right. So there's no data for the 31st yet. Let me just refresh it. Oh, there it is. Okay, we'll come back to that here in a minute. I want to go back 3 days to the 28th. And that's what was loaded up here first. And I want you to take a look at the activity that's going on the 28th that's due to arrive on the 31st. Okay. All right, so that's our, a CME with an object with it. So we could possibly see an unexpected storm tomorrow. Okay. Tomorrow. We already had one today. So let's come on over to Solar Ham here. Dive on in here really quick. All right, our solar flux index is 214. It's up 10 points. Our sunspot number count is in the green. We're down to 130 now. It's up 6 more, but still in the green. Areas in the green as well. That's all good. Let's pop this open really quick and zoom on in. I got a lot to cover tonight, so I'm just going to march forward at a faster pace. 37.99, kind of rounding the limit out of here. 3800, the oddball, totally waning and leaving the limb. We got 3807, but it's really gapped like this. The two poles that are strong have a big gap in them, so not too much to worry from that one. 3806, very complex, but not very strong. So it's not the object or whatever may be pulling away or maybe finished there already. Okay, and then this 3808 on the limb right there. But other than that, not much to look at there. Let's come on over and see how fluxed we are. Righty then. So we had this little bit of dropout last night. The satellite eclipsing the Earth eclipsing the satellite, sorry. And here's your dropout again. So meanwhile, here's your day today right there. And we had this little M-class flare right there. And I have a feeling that's what's missing from our data is this M-class flare. Why, I don't know. But, we know why. Anyways, let's, there's your ghost X-ray. And then here's a little peek into tomorrow. Let's go on over, and you already saw me kind of pull that up, so I'm not going to tease you. Let's just open it up and get her going. You see this coming out over here? Shoot, we got more data on this than we had on the whole day. Whoa. Back up to frame 1. All right, let me get this dialed in just a sec. Scooch for you guys. Okay, here we are, 8:31. This is a little peek into tomorrow already. We can look into the future at this channel. Actually, we can. All right, you see your nice strong event coming out over here. Then your object emerges from the plasma here Let me back up to that frame right there and zoom in on this. What the heck? Oh, I think I know what it might be. You see this thing right here? Pulling out plasma. It's more... Let's go in even a little tighter on that. How about all the way as far as we can? Pull it over and bingo. So there's something right here. A Muamua or something. Grabbing a bunch of plasma, pulling some off as it goes by. Maybe there's like a moon right here. Something around with the plasma going around it. We're just seeing this side of it, the dark little patch right here. This side's illuminated because it still has plasma latched onto it and streaking back. So, yeah, I have a feeling this is our round object right here. And if we kind of... Well, if you tilt your head to the left a little bit, you could probably see that this would go down the middle of your spheroid. It'd be more right there. And this side's in shadow, or it's already a dark object, so it's hard to see. So it'd be black. It's not a Muamua. It's a sphere that's, half in shade and half lit. I think you guys might be able to see that. And then we got our little craft right out here in front of it, too, escorting it. A couple of them here. Bing, bing. All right, so there's that. Let me pull back a little bit from that because we're in pretty close. 125. All right, so there's your little moon thing right there coming out, dragging a bunch of plasma with it. Let's go one more. As it kind of exits the frame here, you can see there's a bigger one with this little one right here. First, let's go like this. Yeah, there we go. Whoops. Now you can see a little bit better. These two dark patches right here and a little smaller one over there. So it looked like we had a little 2-pack or something. And you can even see this crescent C-shaped plasma, coming off the top of the sphere, draping back, coming around the sides and the bottom and draping back. Ooh, well, maybe right there. Okay, so quick little glimpse there into the future. All right. And over here, you can see it a little bit on the instrumentation here, too. So we definitely have a little event going on there already going into the 31st. That was 8 of 9, just one more frame as it kind of exits the frame. Here's a ghost image right here. Okay, so there's your event there. All right, so it doesn't look like much going on here. The Earth eclipse and the satellite, but you saw there's a little, a little something going on there. All right. All right, so here we go. Going into the tomorrow's geomagnetic forecast, the 31st, they're calling for a G1 already, okay? I just showed you the big object in the CME that produced this, okay? So don't be surprised if this is a little stronger than G1, all right? Ow. The next 2 days, pretty clear right there, but we'll have to go backwards on Soho here to find out for sure here. X flare potential meantime down to 10%, M flare 60%. That's all good. The one M flare we had was a 3.8, so no big deal there. The 3806 beta gamma delta and growing. Okay, and then here's our G1 geomagnetic storm that we had today. And just a little while ago, there was some yellow on here having another one So let's pop this open. We'll probably have another yellow bar right here. Not a very big one, but just slightly. And more energy being absorbed into the planet. This event right here wasn't expected. Okay, a geomagnetic storm, G1 storm right here earlier today was not expected, but let's go back to, well, that was kind of the 30th that happened. So let's go back 3 days from the 30th. That'll be the 27th. And let's just see what, ooh, did you see that? Did you see a full halo kind of, bing? It even glitched out the camera right before, the frame before the full halo. It glitches out the camera, which means it's coming our way. So, no surprise, what came off the sun the 27th with a halo hit us today on the 30th. So, we're going to start doing it the old-fashioned way, like we used to, kind of peeking back 3 days, all right? Meanwhile, there should be another little one coming pretty soon right there, and then we'll see what happens going into tomorrow, because I just showed you the big object that came off, and we'll see what happens here. This might be a little stronger. Okay. All right. So we've covered that. Everything else is declining, which is good. All right, let's get into the BZ component of the interplanetary magnetic field, or the IMF, has been tipped south for the past few hours. Active KP4 geomagnetic conditions is being observed with a chance for minor G1 storming at higher latitudes. All right, well, we did. We saw the G1 storming. Okay, and then solar activity is back up to moderate levels around 3806. Produced a quick M38. Okay, so right there produced a little 38. That was yesterday's. Let's just take a peek at the tracker. All right, so we got a CME coming off this direction. Okay, it's not hitting us, but said object could be going like this direction. Something's going on where stuff's going this way, and say if this is an IMF, or not an IMF line, but this round circle would be like the sun's a magnetic field line for the sun. Just pretend it is. And if somebody came along, an electrical stimuli bumped this electrical shell, it would cause a spark. So bing, and the spark's coming that way, but that doesn't mean the object isn't still going by us this direction. And that's what's been happening I think lately, is some of the CMEs head away from us, but the object actually goes by us. All right, this little yellow dot right here, Earth, happens to be one of the most important planets in the entire universe, and everybody's paying attention. Everybody in the universe paying attention to what's going on here. All right, so we're getting a lot of, observers, we'll say. Okay, meantime, showing a little impact here at the cusp of the second third right here on Earth. So let's pop that open too real quick, just to take a peek in here. Lift up her skirt, take a peek under the hood. That old thing. All right, load it up really quick here. Thank you for your patience and time. All right, so here we go. And I think all they're talking about is this little blob, solar wind. Yeah, that's not even showing like a CME or impact or anything, just solar wind on the cusp of the second there. So no biggie. Okay, let's move on. Come on over to here. And is that thing still going? All right, so the geomagnetic storm in progress, a minor G1 class geomagnetic storm is in progress. Why? A crack opened up in Earth's magnetic field. Solar wind is flowing through the gap and fueling high latitude auroras. All right, so if Earth's magnetic field has a crack in it, what do you suppose would cause a crack in Earth's magnetic field, or a weakening of Earth's magnetic field. Maybe there was some grinding in the human. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. We'll see here. Anyway, vertical star trails, astrophotographers, come over here, read that, learn how to take these pictures. Pretty cool. But here we go. G1 was in progress when this was written, and then the Earth's magnetic field has a crack, all right, or is weak, we'll say. All right. Now let's come on over to the human and see what's going on over here. Well. Gee, I wonder why there's a weakness in our magnetic field. Maybe because we're grinding and doing all this roller coaster ride, up and down, up and down, up and down, and then this gap right here where there's just nothing. There's nothing there. No green. It just kind of whoop, and then went back to grinding again. It looks like it almost kind of came to not a stop, but just got super weak right through that little gap right through there. All right. Meanwhile, quite the roller coaster day, wouldn't you say? And this affects your moods. It affects animals. It does all kinds of stuff. And it's an indication of pressure down below. And with this kind of scratching right along here, right before our event, this is such a sudden event. I didn't see much build up to it. You see how some of these kind of gradually taper up and then taper down. This one's kind of all of a sudden, but I'm pretty sure this is our little impact right here. Okay. We had impact and then starts grinding down below. Then stops. Everything stops for a little bit. Then we have high intensity again. And let me just refresh this for our latest readings. Okay, that is our latest readings. Okay, so quite the little day we had here. And then this oddball gap right there where the core and the shell, the core spinning inside the shell propagates this magnetic field outward off the planet. Okay, it's much like a little electric motor. When that electric motor is sitting still and nothing is moving it and there's no battery charged up to it, it has a small electrical or magnetic field because of the magnets in it. Much like our planet has magnetic material in it. Now, when you spin the little shaft and the brushes inside rotate, well, that'll cause electricity to come out the poles, the positive electric poles. The reverse also happens. When you put electricity into those poles, well, then the shaft spins. All right, the same thing with our core. When it's spinning, it propagates energy, electricity outward, and that's our magnetic field. Our magnetic field hums much like a high voltage tension wire, and it hums at 7.83, and that's the vibration, the heartbeat of the Earth. Why is it? Because that's the frequency of our magnetic field. And you can't live without that, all right? And the moment they shut it off, one time the Russians put cosmonauts into space, and they forgot to provide the 7.83, and the astronauts lost their minds and killed each other. It makes you violent and insane when it's not nice and green, all right? Just because it's here in white, that's intense 7.83. We need it just calm. We need good continuity, not up and down, up and down. So this wreaks havoc on your body and on your emotions and stuff. So that's why it's important we do the spiritual work in the background too, because this is going on in the background, as well as, well, spiritual events happening to you as well. All right. So I know, but you know what? This makes you stronger. Enduring this makes you tough. Okay. I know you might not like it, but I'll tell you what, you're becoming well, almost like a prepared for battle, for spiritual warfare, right? You know how to handle things. Okay, let's move on now, please. All right, coming over here. Can you see it? See, I was telling you how he'll use land masses or mountains and incorporate air, clouds with land masses and stuff. So I'll pray for you, Cindy. Okay, we'll try to ease some of the suffering and send some angels over your way. All right. Meanwhile, our little smiley face here, and we're just kind of looking around at storms. You can see there's a storm, there's a storm, and then over here we got this vortex going on over here. And we can put the winds back on, I guess. Yeah. You want to see something funny? Here, Cindy. This will make you laugh. With the wind and the ice swirling around. All right, so a couple of vortexes going on up in there. Meanwhile, this one that we were just looking at has kind of exited India now and is off the coast right here. And laughter's the best medicine. See, most people wouldn't even enjoy that. You enjoy it 10 times more because of your pain, right? So your pain brings about a higher awareness of joy. When you're experiencing joy, it's a lot more joyful. It's not boring. All right, so a couple of vortexes going on here. I see the nose and this little... Oh, stop it. It's just getting funky out there. Now, all kinds of weird activity going on out here. Look at this. Just all... doesn't even know what to do here. But as we come along, here's our storm. This one that's going over Hawaii right now. This one fizzled out. There's another one growing back there. Or right here, sorry. Okay, so they're kind of getting this train effect going. They're not strong, but they're getting the train effect going a little bit there. Okay, so smile. You have victory already. All right. Imagine the pain you're enduring now for eternity. Well, you don't have to. You're just enduring it now. Other people will have to endure it for eternity. So, and now here's Greenland making fun of my hair hanging over my forehead here. That's funny as hell. God's really got a good sense of humor sometimes. All right, so now let's come over and start taking care of business, all right? I've got a good show for you guys tonight, so cheer up. Where are we going, Lord? Oh, yeah, thank you. To the sandstorms, Brian. Okay, now you can see this big old arm reaching out, shaking its fist at America, okay? But it's a big old plume of sand here, and that's good. We need this stretched out, pulled all out, covering this whole area with a nice, good, plume of sand, because that's what's keeping the hurricane genesis down, all right? And when we put the wind patterns in, you'll see that we need that because it'd just be coming up into America. So as we start to back around this way, very intense sandstorm going on here in this entire region, all right? I hope you guys don't get too rattled by the mushroom clouds you saw in that region. Meanwhile, there's your little storm brewing up right there, and you can still see the eye and the nose just looking right at this place right here. See the curling up the nose too right here, the nostril. Okay. There's a reason why that's there. Okay. Anyway, let's move on to the SO2. Thankfully, we don't live on that side of the world. We're all over here. Just really quick with the wind on the, we got wind, okay. The wind with the sand plume real quick. All right, I'll just kind of slow down and leave the wind patterns going here a little bit. You can see them coming down the coast, pulling the sand and bringing it, drawing it across and pulling it in there. That's good. That's the kind of conveyor belt structure we want. We don't want anything rotating and throwing sand back at Africa. We want this plume to continue to drag on out and come up into the country. It diminishes all kinds of hurricane production in that alley right there. And if they can't produce there, then any kind of storms that do come up through the country and go across this hot spot won't have rotation yet. So it'll kind of diminish this activity going across the top of the conveyor belt as well. So, but right now there's a good healthy sand plume. It's got a little dip in it, and there's a break right here, or out in front of it here, this whole gap right here. So we got to watch what forms in here, as well as in the Gulf. I've seen a little model showing some rotation, and we'll just get there when we get there. Meanwhile, there's your sandstorm report. Now we're coming over to CO2, which is, whoops, no. CO2 chemicals, or SO2, my bad. SO2, not CO2. Not the bad boy, that dangerous old CO2. Plant food. God, I wish everybody had paid attention in chemistry. They wouldn't be able to pull the wool over your eyes. Meanwhile, here's your country divided. You can see it's bleeding out on the right. We got patches here where there's flooding and we're not seeing any, emissions. But over here on this side, it's all pockmarked with perforations in the crust. So there's your country divided. Doesn't have to be. It's all about leaders, right? Well, a leader is not a leader if you don't follow them. A leader is only a leader if you follow them. Hint, hint. Stop listening to the idiots. And stop doing what they tell you. Oh, do this, do that. The same people lied to you the whole time. All right, there's our activity going on. We need to trying to do spiritual report and this at the same time. Fires. Gotta do fire report real quick. Sorry. Okay, you can see up here in Canada, still going on up here. This effect, SO2 emissions so hot that they start, fires around, any kind of foliage that's around will spontaneously combust. Now look at this. Look how each little site has its own little fire. Wow. And then we unrelease for all the rest of the fires. And gee, do you think maybe it's because of the SO2 emissions? I mean, sure matches up pretty well with them. And not every SO2 site has a fire, because not every emission site has a bunch of trees or foliage or is spewing so hot, concentrated, it's dark purple, okay? I once saw a mountainside with a big, huge flame shooting out of it, a methane flame that was like taller than a skyscraper and took up about half the face of the mountain. It was just like a fighter jet and afterburner, just huge flames jumping out of a mountain. Crazy. All right, now let's get over here to China, take off the fires, none. And do our SO2 over here. Okay, sulfur dioxide is the gas that surrounds the magma down below. The magma wants to come up through the perforations in the crust. Trust me, it wants to. But it can't because the perforations are too small. They're little tiny alleys, little pathways so tight and dense that only gas can get up through them. Well, for right now, SO2 is coming out. And it's an indicator of the pressure down below. The magma wants to come out, and it's showing each of these dark spots is a weak spot, right? Where more gas comes out as a weaker spot. And this whole area is very, very porous, and they're getting flooded. And then they get SO2, and then they get flooded, and it just erodes those little channelways away. And pretty soon, this whole place is going to look like Swiss cheese. And before they can even attack, it's just going to dissolve. it'll just turn into mush. It'll turn into a swamp and just wash out to sea. They better get their act together and figure out who God is. Same with India. It's showing the signs. And we got this swirling wind pattern that keeps blowing this gas up against the Himalayas. It won't go over the Himalayas, which keeps it recycling over here in India. And as you can see, both of these regions are darkening up. Okay, same with this place over here. They made a big mistake. They need to do some homework, do some research. They better look up in the skies real soon and figure out what's going on. They messed up. Everybody did. Over here in Europe, see, it's bleeding out too. I love this little triangle cut out right here. That's nothing going on there. Only big old huge triangles flying all over your skies, if you guys only knew. If I showed you the battles that are going on in the sky above, you would. Maybe we will show you that tonight. We'll see. Meanwhile, Iceland, SO2 all over the place. SO2 all over the place. Okay. We already checked. We don't need to check that. What I want to do now, really quick here. Well, we got a couple of people is particulates, SO4. Okay, this is another sulfide, another sulfur compound, SO4. We were talking about SO2. This has 2 more oxygen atoms per molecule. It's sulfur quad oxide. Okay, so the thing about this gas is it comes out of the volcanoes and it's man-made as well, but that's not what we're worried about, or emission sites. It's the concentration of it around the world. Because this particulate, when water wants to adhere to it and form a raindrop, instead of adhering to this particulate, it actually chemically bonds with it. Okay. And SO4 bonds with H2O to create a new chemical compound called H2SO4, which is known as sulfuric acid. Okay. And there's lots of sulfuric acid in our atmosphere. Okay. Your storms, it gets picked up in these storms you see here. And then when these storms come rolling in, it's acid rain. So out of there, back to chemicals. We did SO2. Oh, CO2 as well. Quick CO2 report. How about like current conditions? All right. A real quick look at this legend. Here in the middle is like neutral. Okay. Going this way, darker browns, is a lot less CO2. Going from white to blue shows higher concentrations of CO2. Okay. So looking around America, let's look for our blue. Don't see much. Let's come over here. Oh, theirs has diminished a lot. There used to be blue all over this place because of all their CO2 emissions. But the opposite is happening now. And when you see darker places like this, that's jungle eating up CO2. It's plant food. Foliage, plants, trees, any kind of jungle will gobble up CO2. And then it kicks out this wonderful product called oxygen, which we need to breathe. And we don't get it without CO2. And lately, these emissions, go back 8 hours just real quick out of curiosity. Wow. Because they used to be really covered in blue. And this is telling me their CO2 production, their production of stuff has come to a screeching halt. Oh, didn't surprise we saw that. Okay, I think we're done here. No, we're going to the oceans now. We're going to this. All right. And I want today's conditions now. All right, here we go. Here's your heat anomalies. Okay, your surface temperature, sea surface temperature heat anomalies. Big yellow bar out here in mid-Pacific where Tamumasi and probably a bunch of other vents out here just spewing. Meanwhile, we had this triangular shaped structure out here off the coast of California, or off the whole West Coast, with these fingers that were growing along here. Now look what's happened. This area that was bright yellow has diminished in intensity, but has spread up this way now. Okay, so now we have orange touching the coast up here. Our cold water inundation trying to fight back here. See it? Trying to poke out here a little bit. Meanwhile, this plume down by the Bay Area has lessened, and this one's still kind of there. But this one seems to be getting a little smaller. All right, so there's that structure right there for the Pacific until we put the winds in. This is coming alive out here, this new little area off the tip of Baja. Remember just a couple months ago, we were reporting on ice cold water, like this total blue right here. That's like Arctic cold water right there coming out down here. Well, that's all gone now, and it's been replaced with hot water because we've had some kind of vent open up down there. All right, this one kind of diminishing. It did its little thing, and it's kind of petering out. But, every time we get pressure, any of these spots can flare right back up. Now, this little rash that's breaking out right here, this is kind of concerning because, well, our sand plume has reached out to here, right? And it's covering all this. But look what's happening coming out into here. Then, as we kind of pull back here, let's just take a peek at the top of the world real quick there. Yeah. And a little peek down at the bottom of the world here. Take a little peek over here at Java. Our relief valve still doing a good job in relieving pressure, keeping cold water in the region. Meanwhile, this little plume is busted out here. You got cold and hot next to each other. I bet you we'll see some rotation or some kind of swirling action there. Meanwhile, here's the bottom of the planet all speckled. Boom, 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 boom. Even off the coast of Australia, getting their plumes and stuff as well. Okay, quick little peek at Taiwan here. Uh-oh, right inside the fulcrum point right here, you're starting to see yellow build up. All right, there we go. A little bit better. Get the wavy lines a little bit. But anyways, right here, you can see a little patch of yellow building up, and that's right where our fulcrum point is too. So we need a quake out of Taiwan and around the Philippines. You see that area starting to fill up with yellow again. All right, now let's go ahead and apply the wind. And you'll see that our heat, cold signatures are actually creating the air patterns that are guiding our storm systems, creating in storms too. Come on down here. Even look up here in the West Coast. Now you can see how it drives up into Alaska, but the rest peels off and comes down the West Coast. It's not allowing weather to move across this part of the country. Any kind of weather comes up, hits the coast, comes down, and goes right back out. So it's kept this region here between our dividing line and the West Coast pretty dry and hot and stuff, okay? Meanwhile, with that flow coming up through here, this part of the country from the middle over has been having all the severe weather, tornadoes, heavy rains, flooding, and stuff like that, right? We come out here to this conveyor belt structure now. I'll let that sit there for a minute and let you guys kind of see the smiley face type structure there. Whew. Wow. Look at this. Whoops. Right here. Cold, hot vortex. Cold, hot vortex. Alrighty, so there are your conveyor belt structures. This one, still nice and broad, nice and strong, well organized. Like I said, I don't want to see anything like this coming backwards and pushing sand back in there. I want nice plumes coming off and staying, well dispersed, cutting down the convection. It cuts down on the convection. Sand is it's a heavier particle. It doesn't allow the cloud tops to grow as tall. And the taller they get, that's the stronger the storm. The stronger the storm, then it starts to rotate, and then you get a hurricane. All right, so there's your conveyor belt type structures. Also looking, wait, let's just do this really quick. Pretty cool, huh? It just flows right on up across from the southern hemisphere. Air from the southern hemisphere coming up into the northern hemisphere. There we go. Yeah, eat some shrooms and stare at that for 20 hours. You'll get lost in the sauce. All right, there's your airflow patterns, obviously being controlled by our heat plumes and our temperature anomalies. Okay. And a little bit of good news to report out of all this is the reduction of pressure out here. Let me turn the winds off and go back to like the West Coast here, because I know that's where a lot of people are concerned about right now. We have this whole structure right here. You can see the Juan de Fuca plate is just totally carved out right there. All right, so we're going to kind of leave that there and then hop into our earthquake report. Okay. And we can get rid of that. We'll keep that around now. All right, here we go. Our deep quake region. Check over here. We have a 4.3 over here by Tonga, but it's only at 356. So it's not our super deep quake, and it's a regular 4.3 mid-range 4 activity. So nothing to write home about there, nothing down below there. Very quiet all through this zone. Indication that pressure is kind of relieved a little bit. And then we see up here 4.7 at the surface, right on this plate boundary. Okay, over here, this spot, we've seen quakes here before. And if you look along this plate boundary right here, this mountain range, well, the fault is at the foothills. See how the mountains come down to flat land, and right along that foothills, right where they meet, is your fault line. All right, well, also in the mountain structure itself, you see this little gap right in here, and that's where we've seen some earthquake activity. It's like a little weak spot coming through, cutting the mountains almost in half right here. This really deep valley that you can go from this valley over to this valley and cross the Himalayas right through this valley. And off to our side here, this little weak region is our 4.2. And notice how it's at 10. Okay, it's not down deep. It's not, these are the Himalayas. You would think that something here would be down deep, right? Well, no, this is a 4.2 at the surface because we got a weak spot that cuts right through there. And we've seen quakes in that region before. All right, meanwhile, over here, we get this 4.2 down at 119, and that's kind of shallow for that region as well. Usually we see a little bit deeper. This is a thicker, little tougher outcropping of crust right there. Over here, Mid-Atlantic Ridge, 5.6 at the surface, relieving pressure. Probably kind of relieve some of the volcanic activity at Reykjanes there too. All of the volcanoes going off there. Now, very quiet through the Eastern Pacific, but look over here, or Western Pacific, sorry. But look over here on the eastern side of the Pacific. We got this here in Mexico, 4.9. What do we do with 4.9s here? I mean, I swear, it's the longest list. Down at 134, a little volcanic site, something going on there. All along this plate boundary right here, 4.1 down at 38, 4.1, 68, 4.3, 58. Plate boundary, 5.1 at the surface, relieving pressure. All through this Cocos plate just got relieved. Bingo. 4.4 there. No fulcrum point, but coming on down here where we have stronger SO2 emissions, we have this as well, 4.2 and a 4.5. And I think that's all she wrote. No. We've still got a masterpiece to perform. Okay, let's get on into all magnitude for Marca. All right, you can see all kinds of little microquaking all at our volcanic island systems going up through here. Here's a beautiful one with, whoops, come here, 4.4. Usually mid-range 3 to 3.8 out in that region. 4.4 tonight. Coming up through, here's our current quake right in the ridge line of the fulcrum point. There's a 3.8 down at 52. Little fulcrum point right there. But meanwhile, not much coming on down through here. Let's get into this region now. All right, everybody grab your popcorn or soda. Here's what it is. Really small microquaking along the bay here, okay? And then we see here at Mount Rainier, earthquake activity at Mount Rainier here. It's not much, but it's an indication. Quakes at volcanoes, Mount St. Helens as well. Okay, not much, but still, just showing that there's pressure moving around down in the volcanic tubes down in there. Shifting magma will cause, well, little vents to rumble a little bit. Not necessarily explode, but rumble a little bit. Then we come on down to the Juan de Fuca fulcrum point, 3.0. That's a little better. I'll take that all day long. A couple of those, maybe. So we have a 3 there and a little bit of quaking going along through there. And when we come over here, here's your Juan de Fuca plate coming out and going up, zigzagging up. All right. So this little chunk right here that's in the middle, right here, has magma. It's getting all hot. There's something coming out of this chunk right here. It's kind of backed away from, you see the line that was running the coastline here? It's kind of backed away from that and filled that whole chunk in now. All right, so it's not as extreme coming out of this crack, but the whole area now is kind of glowing. All right. Oh, man, I just saw so much. Lord help me. I'm trying to keep up with all of it. 1.7. All right, now we come down to the geysers. 2.6 being our biggest one. Not a bunch of them today, but a few. You know, there's some there. We need more activity there. It's another relief valve, relieving pressure before it comes into the Bay Area where millions of people all gather around a very, very precarious position there. Okay, not much going on plate boundary, just little ones. Come down to this little quake swarm area. Oh, this is better. We're seeing a few out of here too. 1.9s. Okay, good. Almost 2. That's okay. We'll take all that, all we can get. Say if a magnitude 10 was a dollar bill, and these are all a bunch of little pennies, right? Well, start collecting all of these, you're going to have that magnitude, that dollar bill. If you collect all these little pennies, all this little pressure, all these little quake swarms, little microquaking releases pressure. You add all that stuff up, you're looking at your dollar bill. Not necessarily a magnitude 10, but when you see, that's the kind of metaphor I'm trying to use, at least. Okay, we come on out to Texas. You can see we've had some quaking out in here. Man-made perforations in the crust caused 2.7 down at 2.7. Something about 2.7 today. Nothing along the craton there. Ooh, what'd you do that for? Okay, nothing along the craton. We covered all that. Just a quick little magnitude check. 3.3. What's this? 4.3. So a little higher pressure in this region than normal, but still kind of doing its thing, relieving it at least. Let's come on over here to Hawaii. Check on somebody. Make sure she's doing okay. All right. Meanwhile, some good quake swarming coming out of Hawaii here. A couple of current ones, 2.1s, 2.0, some of the bigger ones, 2.2. Give me a good size one here. That one. Well, twos, 2.3. So anywhere from 2.3 to mid-range ones. It's good. It's relieving energy, but it's also kind of pointing that it wants to erupt right here. The the lava channels and tubes and canals down below probably blocked up a little bit since the last eruption. You get molten magma come up through a tube, reach the surface, and then it cools. And when the eruption stops, whatever's stuck in the tube cools and plugs up the tube. And when you got a plugged up volcano that's got pressure underneath and it can't, come out the vent, well, you see little microquaking like this. Okay, now I think we're done. Yeah. So let's get rid of some of this. Pull up our volcano report. And you guys can come over to Null School, nullschool.net. You watch these videos all the time. You know how to click on that stuff. You can come over and check it every once in a while when your curiosity's like, wonder what it's looking like right now. You can always go check. Okay, volcano page. Lord, let it open up. All right, 34 erupting and 32. So we dropped one where you can't see it. So it was 34 and 32, which, makes 64. So we have 64 currently erupting volcano, or currently active and erupting volcanoes. And if I'd have told you 7 years ago when all this started that we'd be at this point with 64 volcanoes, you would have said, Brian, you're crazy. Well, here we are, 64 volcanoes later, and I'm still crazy about you. All right, nice little new map for Iceland here, all the different zones, zone 3. You can come over and check out the map if you want. I'm going to tell you about Stravinsky. The hazard assessment has been revised with significant updates. Downgraded. Hazard level has been downgraded. Good. They had the earthquake. They had that big unzipping and the huge curtain with multiple, just a whole curtain. That's a lot of pressure being relieved. So, IBU, back down at 8,000. It was fun cruising with you guys at 10,000, but we got to come back down to 8. All right. Luatobi, 9,000. Semeru, Vana State eruption, 15. Okay. Marapi on Sumatra, not to be confused with Merapi on Java, but Marapi, 11,000. Dukono, 8,000. White Island, continuous low-level eruption, scaring the crap out of all the elites trying to get into their bunkers. Shishalden, here in Alaska, the activity of the volcano has been decreasing. Okay, so decreasing. Fuego, no height, but Songay, 20,000. Reventador, 14,000. Sabancaya, 23,000. And that was just in the last few minutes. Okay, last hour, because this is today. So let's open up today and take a look at today, which is now yesterday, because, time flies at this channel. Look at all the red on that map. This map never existed before. Now it's got red all over the place. More red than yellow. Okay, now Karaminski on the Kamchatka. Ebico, 10,000. IBU, 8,000. Ibu. Luatobi. Semeru, 15. 2 demon dogs, unsafe. Probably can't get homeowners insurance with those either. 15,000 there. Dukono, 8,000. White Island, continuous low level. Popo, here we go. 20,000 out of Popo today. 16 from Fuego, 25. Nevada del Ruiz back on the map at 25,000. Hey, no big deal. It's just 25,000 feet outside, Colombia right there. 20,000 Sangay, Reventador, another 15, and Sabancaya, hey, another 25,000 foot blast. No biggie, though. It's just an insanity list here 25,000, 15,000, 7,000, 8,000, 12,000. Okay, all that ash going up into the air. These lists are insanity. And it just keeps growing. It's not like we did drop one today. We dropped one volcano less today because we had a little reduction in pressure. Okay, do not get desensitized by these lists. You should come over here and open up each one of these and read each one of them until your mind goes, oh my Lord. All right, let's keep moving. Let's see if we can get to the weather here. Okay. You know what? I don't think we even need to let that load up. Let's just keep marching here. Okay. Ooh. With all the particulates and all the new moisture in the air, I showed you those heat plumes on the ocean. That's water evaporating as well, putting a higher humidity level in the air, higher water content in your air, plus more particulates. Just a bad combination makes for way more water. Stronger storms, just everything. Plus, we also have the spiritual realm waging war with the weather, and what appears to be man fighting back with his technology too. And you add all those little components together, and well, now you see chaos going on around the world. Nighttime of the 30th. Let's go. Severe weather, kind of trailing along this frontal boundary right here. This linear storm front. There's the morning of the 31st down here by Louisiana, Texas. Noontime, convection tomorrow. Sorry, and tomorrow night. Here we go. Morning of the 1st, noon, convection, nighttime. Also, we need to talk about geomagnetic enhancement. We just had G1. We'll probably have G1 or maybe a little stronger tomorrow. Right there. So possible enhancement at the morning, possible enhancement to that. These speckled and all these little independent supercells. Let me zoom in on this, please, Lord. Thank you. Okay, so all these little independent isolated supercells right here are very dangerous. And if we have a geomagnetic enhancement, say we're having a G1, G2 tomorrow at convection, that could enhance a lot of these storms, making them stronger and producing, more larger hail, higher winds, maybe tornadoes. Okay, so possible enhancement to that if we get the storm, G1. Okay. It all kind of matters on the timing of the impact too. If it impacts us at night when the Earth's not facing the sun, well, then we don't get the enhancement. But if it impacts us during the daytime, especially around convection, then everything just blows up really quick. Back to the September 1st, morning, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 2nd, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 3rd, noon, convection, nighttime. Anything after this is kind of, going to change. So let's just rattle them off. Morning of the 4th, noon, convection, nighttime. 5, noon, convection, nighttime. 6th, noon, convection, nighttime. 7th. That's the morning of the 7th with this thing just driving right up through that. That was wow. Really? So watch out on the 6th as all that just gels together, and then at nighttime just slams that area. Morning of the 7th, still going on. Noon, convection. Look how it's just rotating back now. Nighttime. The tail. See this tail coming off down here, hooking up with this now. Morning of the 8th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 9th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 10th, look at this thing coming in. Whoops, no, you turkeys. I don't want the photographs. I want this back. It's too bad we have to go all the way back to the site and do this, but here we are. Morning of the 4th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 5th, noon, convection, nighttime. 6, noon, convection, nighttime. Pull that down. Convection of the 7th, right there. Nighttime. Morning of the 8th, noon, convection, nighttime. 9th, noon, convection, nighttime. 10th, noon, convection, nighttime. 11th, noon, convection, nighttime. 12th, noon, convection, nighttime. 13, noon, convection, nighttime. 14. Did you see how this thing went across? Dip wind went across Mexico. Now it's coming up and starting to come up the side of the country here. That's the morning of the 14th. Noon, convection, nighttime. Look out, LA. We might get another hurricane up through there. Remember how they had one in August last year? Morning of the 15th. Noon, convection. Oh, Arizona. Well, we'll see. That's way, way out there. Okay, so we're just going to let that little model run play really quick right there. All right. So, a little bit different spiritual report tonight. I titled this Salvation Army because, well, it's a big deal, all right? And in ways that you didn't know and ways that you're going to know here in a few. So let me just go ahead and get rid of that and pull up some couple of images to look at. I'm going to give you a little bit of, well, let you know how I got some of this experience. We'll just kind of go with that, pull up those. So, I was telling you back when all this started happening to me here, how there were people that, well, didn't believe me, and I had to go to some different places, we'll say. Okay, so one of the places that I went to was the Salvation Army Drug and Alcohol Rehabilitation Center in Reno, Nevada. The hardest program in the world at the time, because not many people made it through. It's a 6-month-long rehab where you do a lot of work, a lot of hiking, a lot of spiritual work, and let's just say the hardened criminals that they pull out of the jails to put into there can't even do it. All right? So, pretty interesting process, and I learned a lot in there. I'm trying to pull that up. All right, so there's that. So, just real quick here, I'm going to pull on a light and just show you something real quick. Hopefully that's the Salvation Adult Rehab and Drug and Alcohol Program, successful, complete 26-week program. Okay, not trying to say, hey, look at me, I completed a program. No. It's much more. Salvation Army. That's you guys. You guys are members in the Salvation Army. And I'm going to tell you how. Because during that program, they make you go to church, right? And I thought, oh boy, they're going to try to shove religion down in the throat, right? Well, it was a little different. And we went to church. It wasn't so bad. In fact, I learned a few things in there and thought, you know what? Why not give this a try? It's not like they're trying to convert you to Satanism, right? And during that process, a miracle happened. Something special happened. Okay. And I was able to, well, learn from it. I took a lot of notes. Okay. During that 6 month tour. I also relapsed later on and voluntarily went back for another 6 month tour. Okay. Because I wanted my sobriety back. Right. And so I did 2 tours in the Salvation Army. All right. It took, 700 pages of notes the first time and 1,000 pages the second time. So the Salvation Army taught me a lot about myself, about spiritualism and spirituality. And when you overcome the demons that are within you, your alcoholism, your drug addiction, when you overcome those things, you have spiritual achievements. You feel better about yourself, right? Ah, there we go. And in that process, I learned a lot about myself, learned a lot about others and human behavior as well. Now, after, completing this program and stuff, I still had to go off to other institutions and crazy farms and all that great stuff as well. But in those places, I took notes as well. Okay, I didn't belong there, but since I'm in that place, I might as well grab some tools and learn some things while I can. So I grabbed, learned some things that worked for me and took my tools, took what I could get from each little program. All right. And those are some of the stuff that I read from here to give to you guys. All right. So in the Salvation Army, I found Jesus, right? And it helped me through the program. And then when I got out of the program, it helped me with my life. And I realized that the 12 steps in the AA drug program, either AA or NA, the 12 steps are basically a code of life, a missed out way of living that should have been taught in schools. Okay, we wouldn't have these problems in our society if this stuff was taught in school. Okay, and then during the process, you learn tools that other people have found, and you write those down and you practice those and see if it works for you. Okay, so in that process, I learned the art of how to salvage my life. Okay, and I salvaged. That's what salvation is. Jesus is coming to salvage your life. When you believe in him, then you can do salvage work during your days. Okay. You can't do salvage work without this during your day. Okay. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work completely. That's the process that I have found out through from going through all these different institutions and stuff. All right. And then also the art of how to take this and turn it around and teach people what they're missing out on. Okay. This is the Christmas gift. It happened on Easter, but it's a gift of Christ. It's a Christmas gift, and it is a gift. I don't charge for it. It's the best gift you could ever get, this video right here. I just wanted to do the lion face part really quick here. This flip book right here. Okay, you can see that lion face shifting back and forth from Jesus to the lion face. That was hour-long, almost like an hour-long event. All right, and those are a bunch of pictures stacked on top of each other. It's not AI. It's not Photoshop. It's a lot of pain holding the camera up for an hour when you got a shattered shoulder. Okay, so real images. Okay, because I took it seriously, and when you take things seriously, you get results. Okay, now through this whole process, I've learned a lot. Okay. And I'm still progress. It's not perfection, it's progress. It's willingness to continue to fight to improve oneself. Okay? You don't just reach a plateau and go, that's it. That's all I'm going to do. No. Every day is a fight. You have to get up and continue this fight for your spirituality, to stay positive, to try to keep a level head when everything around you is hitting the fan, right? So through all these insane asylums, I was able to help some of the psychiatrists who thought, oh, there's no such thing as, angels or demons or any of that stuff. And when I told them, hey, I've captured these things on video or on camera and you can see it. But they blocked that part out. They just want to hear you say, oh, you're seeing angels. I said, well, yeah, you can see them, but that's not what I'm saying. I said I captured one on video and you should go take a peek. Well, apparently they're not allowed to entertain your delusions, is what they kept saying. Oh, I'm sorry, we can't do that. We can't go look at pictures that you may have taken. That would entertain your delusion. No, it's not a delusion. It's a real thing. It's something very special that you're missing out on, Doc. But I spent a lot of time in a lot of different places not being believed. And that's why your time is so precious. When you give me 5 minutes of your time, I like to reward you with these beautiful images. Hopefully you can see this angel. Okay, this is a real angel hovering over this sleeping kid. 7 years of confinement, not 7 years, but a lot of confinement, a lot of psychiatry sessions, all kinds of wonderful things because, well, they just won't accept the truth. They won't accept the truth. See, I had to accept this. Okay, I had to. I had no choice. I showed you when I was on my knees crying, screaming, and praying that night. I had no question about it. Right here. Okay? From that moment on, well, actually from the day before when the little baby was born right there. And we'll even get a little close up on that right there. Just move that just a tad bit. Move my hand out of the way there. There, now it's pointing at the baby's head, okay? Ever since this day. And everybody thought, oh, you're on drugs, you're crazy. No. It's not that at all. Something special, something awesome happened. Not something, scary or crazy or, delusional or anything. No, the real deal. Can't you see it? The real thing happened. And the days prior to this, leading up to this event, I showed you as well. Okay, so I've been through a lot, and let's just say I've grown some thick skin about not being believed. My whole life, since I was a little kid, about 4 years old, I saw a daytime sighting of a UFO, nice silver disc in the daytime. It was totally apparent what it was. And at that age, nobody had ever told me about flying saucers or even mentioned the word UFO, but I knew exactly what it was. I already kind of knew. So that tells me there was something else. And then, being able to see them and nobody else not seeing them. I'm like, you can't see that sitting right there. And they're like, no. That's when I realized, oh, it must be specific people that are able to see it, or they reveal themselves to specific people. No wonder why you can't see it. You haven't been, your mind isn't open enough or something. I don't know. Anyways, a lot of this stuff that I went through, I wasn't believed. Through my whole lifetime, hey, UFOs are real. I captured 80 hours worth of footage. 80 hours. Not a 2-minute clip. Like 62-minute clips, 54-minute clips. I mean, all together, over 80 hours worth of UFO footage, and that still wasn't enough. So it's like, no matter what you try to do to show people, they're either going to understand or not. So, anyways, we're going to get to the reading here in a minute, and I just want to congratulate a couple more people in here who are having success again. Okay, you're applying these principles, you're using these disciplines, and you are finding the peace that transcends the circumstances we live in right now. Okay, and it's important that you grasp that concept and you get it down, get it into your heart. It's the real deal. It's really me. I'm back. Okay? In the flesh. The Word made flesh, not cloud. Okay? Everybody thinks he's going to come back in the cloud. No, the first time he came here in the flesh. Also, another thing. First time was the Son of God. Second time is the Son of Man. What does that mean? Son of Man. Well, if a man had a son, it would be living flesh, a kid, right? Well, if a man had a son, it'd be a kid. Okay, a spiritual kid, a spiritual baby. Okay, not just physical, it's spiritual entity. Okay, it's God. All right. And you guys are actually getting this, and I'm so happy for the people that are receiving the peace. Because that's what I want. I want you guys to understand that this is all meant to be. It's all part of a process. You're growing spiritually. And while we're seeing all this chaos going on, it's important that you receive my peace. It is my continual gift to you. And the best way to receive this gift is to sit quietly in my presence, trusting me in every area of your life. Quietness and trust accomplish far more than you can imagine, not only in you, but also on earth and in heaven. So, when you trust me in a given area, you release that problem or person into my care. It's no longer your problem anymore. You release it to my care. Okay, and that's where you get that peace. It's a continual gift. The best way to receive it is to sit quietly in my presence. You can put the show on and replay. You can sit in quietness and pray, meditating. You are still in my presence. No matter where you go, you are in my presence. So the best way to receive the gift is to sit quietly in my presence, trusting me. Trust. The more trust, the more peace you get in response. It's equal balance there. What's the term I'm looking for? Never mind. I got to get back to this. Your quietness and trust accomplish more than you can imagine, not only in you, but on earth and in heaven. So when you trust me in a given area, you release that problem and person into my care. Now, spending time alone with me can be a difficult discipline because it goes against the activity addiction of this age. So, little did you know, I'm trying to break you guys of an addiction. Maybe you're not a drinker or a smoker and you don't do drugs, but you have an addiction to, well, the drama and evil of this planet. And it comes right through your cell phone. And everybody's scrolling, looking at all kinds of other people's misfortunes and laughing at it. Oh, it's a great old time. No, that's not my way for you. I want you to have peace. I want you to receive that peace sitting quietly in my presence. When you trust me in a certain area, release that problem or a person into my care, okay? I'm the one that's taking care of them, not you. So release that. Take that rock out of that backpack and quit picking up rocks and throwing them in a backpack. Release all of that stuff to me. Sitting quietly goes against the activity addiction of this age. Everybody is so active. Got to stay active. Got to have 2 jobs. Got to be doing this active. When do you ever sit down quietly? Probably here at this show right about now. So, you may appear to be doing nothing, but actually you're participating in battles going on within the spiritual realms. You are waging war, not with the weapons of the world, but with heavenly weapons which have divine power to demolish strongholds. You guys are demolishing strongholds when you're salvaging your day, aren't you? Are you demolishing strongholds when you recover your day and refuse to go into that pit of self-pity? Are you demolishing strongholds? Yeah. You're waging war, baby. You're in the Salvation Army, aren't you? Yes, yes, yes. You're my little soldiers in my Salvation Army. And you may appear to be doing nothing, but actually you're participating in battles that are going on in the spiritual realm. You are waging war not with the weapons of the world, but with heavenly weapons that demolish strongholds, don't they? Living close to me, that's seeing the world from my perspective, seeing your life from my perspective, trusting, counting on, doing your salvage work, living close to me is a sure defense against evil. Yeah, I got this one now. The other side of it says, come to me and rest. Give me your mind and give your mind a break from this habitual activity and also judging. We judge people, their looks, their cars, their status, their money, watching court TV and judging the people that are up in front of the judge who's judging, oh boy, are they in trouble. Did you know that the judges that are sitting behind benches right now, ooh boy, they judged people, and you should not judge people. You never know. You might be talking to an angel. You might even be talking to Jesus himself. So, it's important that you give your mind a break from judging people and from the activity addictive world. Hard to say that one. Okay, you form judgments about situations and that situation or person or yourself or even the weather as if judging were your main function in life. So you form judgments about this situation, don't you? Stop. You don't have to. You form judgments about this situation. You form judgments about a lot of situations. This situation, that situation, this person, that person, yourself, even the weather, as if you were judging your main focus in life was your main focus. And it's not. I created you first and foremost to know me. Okay? I created you to know me and to live in rich communication with me. So when you become preoccupied with passing judgment, you usurp my role. Relate to me as creator to creator, or as creature to creator, sheep to the shepherd, subject to the king, clay to the potter. Allow me to have my way in your life rather than evaluating my ways within you. Okay, one more time. Relate to me as creature to creator, as a sheep would to a shepherd, as a subject would to their king. Relate to me as a clay would to the potter. Allow me to have my way in your life And rather than evaluating my way, accept them thankfully. The intimacy I offer you is not an invitation to act as if you were my equal. Worship me as King of Kings while walking hand in hand with me down the path of life. Okay? Okay, so worship me by living close to me. Okay, it's not on your knees kissing my butt all day. No, it's by living close to me. How's living close to me? Again, seeing this world from my perspective. That's living close to me. So, worship me by living close to me, by living through that perspective now. That is worship right there. When you see the world through the unclouded lens now, that is a form of worship. That's a form of worship. Did you know that? That you're living testimony now? You're just you being is now worshiping me because you see me there. You know I'm back. You're in my presence. So you're by living close to me, you're worshiping me. Did you know that? And this was my original design for you, into whom I breathed my very breath of life. This is my desire for you, that you stay near me as you walk along your life path. Okay, we're walking hand in hand. You got your life path, but you need me holding on to your hand as we go. We're on a journey together. Okay? My desire for you is that you stay near me as you walk along your life path. Each day is an important part of that journey. Each day is an important part of that journey. So if each day is important, don't you think it would be a waste if you ruined a day being all negative and self-pity? And if it starts to go south, well, then pray, take a moment, get in my presence, find that peace, okay, so you can walk with me along your life path. That's why salvaging each day is an important part of that journey. And although you may feel as if you're going nowhere in this world, your spiritual journey is another matter altogether. Taking you along steep, treacherous paths of adventure, aren't they? Isn't your life now kind of a steep, treacherous path of adventure? It's exciting now. Your life is no longer boring. And that is why walking in the light of my presence is essential to keep you from stumbling. Okay? I'm here to help you, to keep you from stumbling. And the best way to keep you from stumbling is walking in the light of my presence, which means going about your day, knowing that I'm here, knowing that you can count on me. The moment you have a situation, stop, pray, and salvage it. That's walking in the light of my presence. Okay? And doing that each day, being very important, walking in the light of my presence, salvaging a day if you have to, it's essential to keep you from stumbling. So, by staying close to me, you present yourself as a living sacrifice. Don't you? Don't you? If you're living close to me, you're practicing this stuff, you're seeing the world from my perspective, then staying close to me, you present yourself as a living sacrifice. And that's what this was all about, is you are the living sacrifice, right? So when you stay close to me, you present yourself as that living sacrifice. Even the most routine part of your day can be a spiritual act of worship, holy and pleasing to me. Okay? I think that was it. Something on the back side of this one too. Oh, yes. Gold. We struck gold. All right. I haven't seen that one in a long time. Okay. So, rest. While we're here together, take a moment, take a deep breath, and rest in me. This time devoted to me is meant to be peaceful, not stressful. You don't have to perform in order to receive my love. I have boundless, unconditional love for you. How it grieves me to see my children working for their love, trying harder and harder, yet never feeling good enough to be loved. So be careful that your devotion to me does not become another form of works. I want you to come into my presence joyfully, confidently. You have nothing to fear, for you wear my own righteousness. So you have nothing to fear. You can be in my presence joyfully and confidently. Can't you guys? Whoops. Oh, that's not the one. I guess we're stuck with the image. Because a lot of people get uncomfortable when I enter the room. They get all nervous. So I don't want that. I want my people, my children, to be joyful and confident in my presence. And you have nothing to fear. You wear my righteousness. So gaze into my eyes, and you will see there is no condemnation, only love and delight in the one I see. So be blessed as my face shines radiantly upon you, giving you peace. And that's where we needed the one picture. All right, let's pull it up. Yeah, shock. A look of shock. Wait until you find out it's real, Michael Bradbury. Oh, come on now, Lord. Can we have that image, please? Just trying to pull that up one more time. Come on back to me, Google. It's trying. All that for one page. Okay. Yeah. All right. Lots of work, but worth it. Okay, so right there. Oh, come on now. Just give me the full screen. Again with my face. So, gaze into my eyes, and you will see no condemnation, only love and delight in the one I see. As you see that right there, be blessed as my face shines radiantly upon you, giving you peace. I designed you to live in union with me, and this union does not negate who you are. It actually makes you more fully yourself. So when you try to live independently of me, you experience emptiness and dissatisfaction, don't you? You may gain the whole world and yet lose everything that really counts. Find fulfillment through living close to me, yielding to my purposes for you. And though I may lead you along paths that feel alien to you, trust that I know what I'm doing. And if you follow me wholeheartedly, you will discover facets of yourself that were previously hidden. I know you intimately, far better than you know yourself. In union with me, you are complete. In closeness to me, you are transformed more and more and more into the one I designed you to be. I designed you this way. You are transformed more and more and more into the one I designed you to be. So gaze into my eyes and you will see no condemnation, only love and delight. Be blessed as my face shines radiantly upon you, giving you peace. I love you guys. I miss you guys. Congratulations to those who are having success out there. You're truly finding You're truly finding it. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that the gift I have to offer is being received and utilized, utilized, not just wasted and discarded. Because it's how I felt for 5, 6 years when I had all this important knowledge and information, and everything just wasted and discarded. Nobody even take a peek. Well, now you can't miss it. Now you can't miss it. It'll be all over the place pretty soon. And you guys have a real head start with me. You are building a relationship with me. It's not a religion, it's a relationship. The Bible describes my character, so you would recognize me by my character. I shouldn't have to say I'm this guy or that guy. You can go, hey, I kind of like this guy. I like this show. I follow him on YouTube. So if you follow me on YouTube and you're here right now watching a live stream, whether it's on replay or not, you're still here with me. This is my face in the clouds with a crown on Easter. Okay. You are caught up with me in the clouds. I can't come over to your house right now. I'm almost paralyzed and still walking, but barely there. So I got to meet you in the air of cyberspace, live on YouTube. Other people are doing it. Why couldn't God? It was designed for me after all, anyway. So, you are my children. You recognize my voice. My sheep know my voice. You see me coming in the clouds with power and great glory. You're caught up like a good book, a good song, a good YouTube live stream, or a good TikTok thread, 4-hour long TikTok thread. You get caught up in it. You kind of lose awareness of what's other things going on. You're more focused on this. You're caught up with me in the clouds. We met in the air, didn't we? That makes you raptured. The word rapture is not in the Bible. That concept has been misevaluated, and a lot of people will be disappointed. But not you. You guys know. I complete your faith. Now you know. Okay? And then I give you the tools to use while you wait with me during these end times that are going to get rough and bumpy, and you're going to need some tools to go through that tribulation, right? So using these tools and practicing this now will become very handy in the future. And when you've got a foundation like this on which to fall back on which to build from, you got victory. You already have victory. You're getting glimpses of the finish line. You're getting glimpses of your face going to be put right here with a crown over it, okay? I can make beautiful collages like this out of your adversity. Okay? That's what your adversity is all about. So you can overcome it, and I can make a beautiful little overcoming picture. Here you are with a crown over your head. You didn't even know you overcame something, but you put your trust in me, and together we overcame it, and you earned something, and now there's a crown over your head. You don't even know. But you're continuing to go forward. You have to keep going forward. And in this world where activity and distractions just abound, you have to fight to carve out time for my presence, right? Sometimes you're just so preoccupied with everything that's going on, it gets you frustrated, you get all wound up, maybe tense, and then that's when you got to take a break, a few deep breaths. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Wait, didn't work that one. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. God, grant me the courage to change the things I can. Oh, well, there are things you can change and things you can't change. You can't change other people, but you can change yourself. So get the courage to change yourself. There you go. So, quick little prayer. God, grant me this serenity. If it doesn't work on the first one, keep going until it does. Okay? Serenity, some peace, even in the midst of all this adversity, no matter what the circumstances, this outweighs them all. Okay? And you have victory. You're rich. You just hit the lottery. This is worth more than gold. And you're going to see here in the future how priceless this is going to be and how priceless your relationship with me is going to be. I love you guys. I miss you guys. And until my next show, I will be back. And you guys keep kicking ass at salvaging your day. You are now in the Salvation Army. You guys are spiritual warriors in an army. You're doing salvage work. You're the Salvation Army. Literally in a different perspective than the thrift store. Okay? You are an actual army of people that are working on salvaging your days. That makes you technically by default, you guys are the Salvation Army. Congratulations. I love you. And I will be back.